The singles competition in figure skating involves 3 separate contests, one of them being the compulsory figures worth 30% of the overall score. That's where they carefully carve out figure eights and other patterns in the ice. Like the dressage event in equestrian competition, it's not really great spectator value. Because of the lack of TV and crowd interest in the compulsory figures, the International Skating Union has decided to drop this part of the singles program from all future international competition. One lady who's probably happy to hear it is Japan's Midori Ito, the reigning world champion who made a lot of mistakes here in Halifax and found herself in 10th place at this point. This is Jill Trenary, 3 times US champion and 3rd at the Worlds last year. She skated well and ended up leading after the compulsories from Russia's Natalia Lebedeva. And this is Shelka Chismesia of Yugoslavia, who has the honor of being the last skater to perform compulsory figures in the international competition. And she's one who'll miss them because they're her best event. At the European Championships in Leningrad, she was 4th in the compulsories, but finished up only 13th overall. After the next section of the competition, the original program, Russia's Natalia Lebedeva had taken the lead. Then came the Americans, Holly Cook and Jill Trenary, with defending champ Midori Ito needing a win in the free program if she was to retain her title.
Here is the reigning world champion, Midori Ito. She had bad figures. She was in 10th place. She won the original. Will she retain her championship? What about the look?
Well, the look looked good to me. Again, it's the killer look that many of the skaters talk about. She had it.
At an international competition in NHK in Japan this year, she skated so well, a lot of people thought she should have won the men's event.
This program, we're only into 1 minute, 18 seconds. There is simply nobody like her. And I think that in this case, one almost has to make an exception that no matter what the computer says or who can win, there is nothing in the world that compares to this skater. Dramatically different from the one that she skated in Paris. There is far more attention to the musicality. She will never be a great artist, but the point is that there is vast improvement in the very thing that she could not do, which was the artistry. championship, I think that they have to take a pool and give her an honorary world title. This skating is simply unbeatable. I'm not so sure that this performance is not the result of coming in 10th in figures. This is the kind of performance that one comes from behind with the performance of their life. There is nothing that is comparable to this. This is simply beyond 6.0. And I'm talking about the jumping, of course, but nobody is in this league.
Well, the chips were down, and she just came through. Triple axel, the hardest triple jump. The men have trouble with that. No problem.
Standing ovation at Halifax for Midori Ito. Picture is worth 1,000 words right there.
Here's the triple axel done at blinding speed. You can see like she literally crawls over the top of the boards. I don't know how high that was, but I suggest that she enter the running broad jump in the Olympics.
Well, she's finally off the ice with her flowers. Last year in Paris for the first set of marks for technical, she had 5 perfect marks, 5 sixes. All the rest of her marks for technical were 5 nines. Well, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3. 3 sixes. The rest are all 5 nines.
5-9, 5-9, 5-9, 5-9. Thank you. Marks for artistic.
And here come her artistic marks.
5-7, 5-8.
She has 3 marks of 5-9 for artistic, which is more than she received last year for artistic in Paris. She is, of course, clearly the leader.
Thank you. Our next competitor represents the United States, Jill Trenary.
But another factor here is this. Jill Trenary, though she was 5th in the original program, comes in here 3rd overall. And if she beats out Yamaguchi and takes 2nd place, she would then have the championship, so she can still do it.
This is not an easy position to skate in. Right after Midori, Jill was on the ice when Midori was receiving the perfect sixes.
This demeanor yesterday in the original program.
Well, it seems to be that the skaters that have the pressure, that have to come from behind, have an advantage. It's far more difficult winning when you're first in figures.
Midori Ito is down just below, watching intently.
Now, there's a human side to how this program can be judged. And if a judge felt very strongly that Midori Ito should win, they would actually drop this performance to ensure that this would happen, regardless of whether the performance deserved to be 2nd or not. My devious mind would be thinking about whether or not I would actually opt for that particular scenario. in the free skating, which would then enable her to win the competition. One more jump and she can do it. I think that just netted her the gold medal because I feel the overall impression is perhaps not as difficult as the Yamaguchi problem, but the artistic impression, which is the total impression really, is probably superior. She's a more mature skater. I think we're now looking at the world champion.
Of choking in the past, Paula, that's been her biggest problem, and it's so nice to see that she's over it.
Well, we must remember that she choked very severely yesterday, but you can see that championship smile, that wave that she's riding. The program is getting stronger and stronger. There is little problem with endurance. We're looking at the world champion here. I'm convinced of it.
And she knows it. There's the look. There's the smile that we did not see yesterday. Oh, it's going to be very interesting. Now for Jill Trenary, and she has attained higher marks than Kristi Yamaguchi. As caller said, that was the winning performance. Although she skated to second place, we might point out to you. Those are lower than the marks, of course, for Midori Ito, but now her artistic marks, and they are higher even than those attained by Ito. So she is second in this free skating and is in the lead. The gold medal would appear to be hers now, and that is one of the more remarkable comebacks by Jill Trenary of the United States. Natalia Lebedeva, the Soviet champion, she was second in figures, fourth in the original, but that combination put her in the lead here. But she'd have to win this long program if she's going to get gold medal now.
Well, Ted, Natalia took an interesting approach to practice this week. I think she felt totally ready when she left the Soviet Union because she rarely showed up to practice, and when she did, she never went through her program with the music.
Exactly sure what the numbers are for this skater who is now in the lead. I'm not sure what position she could come in to win the program.
Well, if she was second, she would be at 5.2, which would put her ahead of Trenary and Ito and put her into the lead. But she'd have to beat Jill Trenary's program to do that.
Well, I think with that missed triple sow cow, that is now impossible. But this is certainly much stronger than the performance she gave in Leningrad, European Championships. The content of this program is at least on the same level anyway as that of Trenary, but we are not seeing is the sparkle, the refinement of movement, the lyricism. There's a certain dullness to the program, and that would be the problem. That would be why she would not crawl into second position. that would be another reason.
Well, on the strength of that, only one more skate stands between Jill Trenary and her world championship, and that will be the one by her teammate, Holly Cook.
Winding up for the long program, this program did not have sparkle. It was certainly the best I've seen for many years, but I really don't feel that it can hope to come first or second.
First group of marks for Lebedeva, and she is no longer a factor in this computerized performance that we have going on here to see who wins the World Championship. There's only one factor left, and that will be Holly Cook. Her second set of marks, and she has dropped down with these marks behind Trenary, who's still in the lead, Ito and Yamaguchi. Lisa Sargent sitting in fifth. Holly Cook has had the reputation of being inconsistent. Well, she would really have to come up with one of her greatest performance, but she could still win this competition if she can beat her teammate, Jill Trenary. But that's an awfully big but, because Jill had an awful lot of very good marks.
Well, Ted, a lot of attention has been paid to the battle between Jill and Midori, and so Holly does not have a lot of pressure on her, and she could sneak in and win a medal.
Tracy, this is not of the quality of Jill Trenary. And one thing about this particular skater is the lack of refinement in the body line and the musicality. You can see that she's just going from jump to jump, and there's very little in the middle of the program. So artistically, this would not be strong. But in her defense, the jump that she was able to do are very big, very strong, almost more masculine in their strength. But it's the in-betweens that would be her problem. But let's face it, it's her first time in years and in Worlds, and this would be a tremendous learning experience, and she can improve those weaknesses, I think. is almost a junior program. Junior program because there is no detail to the actual stats. It is the emphasis is entirely on jumps. And unless you're doing the kind of jumps that Midori Ito does, you cannot rely on that one ability. You also can't fall down on those jumps either.
The gold medal is definitely Jill Trenary's now. And she did it herself. No one would dream of her beating Midori Ito in free skating, but she was the second free skater here, and that's all she had to be.
So Jill Trenary grabs the gold in the ladies' singles, Midori Ito the silver, Holly Cook the bronze.